Okay, we're going to take a look at an aspect of fractions, that is changing a fraction from an improper fraction to a mixed number. And we're going to do that by first taking a look at some of the names of things that have to do with fractions, and that is what's circled here with these two fractions, what's circled in red, that's the numerator, and what's circled here is the denominator. And these little lines are called a vinculum, but that's not all that important. Here we have what's called a proper fraction. The numerator is the numerator is smaller than the denominator. And here we have what's called an improper fraction. The numerator is larger than the denominator. All right, so here we have what's called a mixed number, and that is we have one, a whole number, and we have then a fraction put together. So let's take a look at something that you may already know. We have 3 halves. That's the same thing as 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. That's 3 halves. This is an improper fraction. This can be rewritten to be 1 and 1/2. You can think of this as being 1 plus 1/2. And we can replace the 1 with 2 over 2. We chose 2's because we have a 2 as our denominator over here. So we have 2 over 2, which is just 1. And so now we have 2 over 2 plus 1/2. We are only adding the numerators here, so we can have 2 plus 1, and all of this over the denominator of 2, because you don't add the denominators. Now, 2 plus 1, you know, is 3. All right, let's take a look at 7/4. Here we have 7/4. It's an improper fraction. How many times will 4 go into 7? Well, it'll only go 1, but it'll leave a remainder of 3 left over. So we're dealing with 4 over 4 plus 3/4. This 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. This is 1, and this is 3/4. So we change the 4 over 4 to 1, and then we get rid of the plus sign, so 1 and 3/4. How do we check this? Well, it turns out that 4 times 1 plus 3 is 7. And so 7/4 does equal 7/4. All right, here we have 9/3, the improper fraction. It is equal to 3 plus 3 plus 3 all over the denominator of 3. That's equal to 3 over 3 plus 3 over 3 plus 3 over 3. That's equal to 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 3. You can think of it this way. How many times will 3 go into 9? It will go 3 times. Okay? Here we have 16/4. We could simplify this by saying, okay, 16/4 is the same thing as 4 over 1, or we could say, how many times will 4 go into 16? 4 will go into 16 4 times. But what happens when it's a 17? How many times will 4 go into 17? Well, it'll still go 4 times, but it leaves 1/4 left over. How do you check yourself? 4 times 4 plus 1 is 17. Here we have 35/8. 35/8. How many times will 8 go into 35? Well, it'll go 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. 35 minus 32 leaves us a remainder of 3, and so we're at 4 and 3/8. How do we check? 8 times 4 is 32, plus 3 is 35. 35/8 does equal 4 and 3/8. All right, now we'll take a look at 13 halves. 13 halves, how many times will 2 go into 13? It'll go 6, leaves 1 left over. That means we are at 6.5. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay, and then we'll take a look here. We have 27/4. How many times will 4 go into 27? It'll go 6 times, which is 24. Leaves 3 left over, and we're dealing in fourths. So 6 and 3/4 is the same thing as 27/4. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 3 is 27, and we're dealing with fourths. Okay, here we have 9/8. It's the same thing as 1 and 1/8. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Here we have 66/16. 66/16 is the same thing as 4 and 2/16, but that can be simplified to 2 and 1/8, or 4 and 1/8. How many times will 16 go into 66? 4 times. 2 are left over, and we're dealing with 16ths. All right. If you're not getting these right, you need to get some help. If you are getting these correct, it's not possible for me to make a fraction so difficult that you can't solve it. So, your comments, questions, and suggestions are always welcome, encouraged, and appreciated. You can contact me at Alan Morris.